We live here on Zoom as well too. We got a good little group on this beautiful Sunday. Great for this opportunity, 100%. Great for you to be here. So I'm gonna tell you guys, we're gonna hop right into it. It's Sunday. I know a lot of you guys may be with family, may be out there, um, with the fam, out of family dinner, whatever it may be. I appreciate the time that you guys all took to be here. Time away from things that you guys love to, pour into yourself. And this is a form of self love. And you can never, as I always tell people, pour from an empty cup. So right now, you guys are pouring into self to be able to pour into other people, because this information is going to allow you guys to not only help yourself. Yes, that's powerful. You can help yourself. You can get these, debts removed. But now, once you have kids and you're able to teach them this information and pass that along, that's where the true power comes. To where they're not worried, in fear, going through divorces. 80% of marriages fail because of a lack of an extra $600, with people a month. With people knowing this, it could easily make them, that double that every week, every month, from getting remedy from these corporations. Yes, we can get these accounts deleted, but they actually owe you money as well too for infringing upon your guys' rights. So yes, deletion, that's the first step. But imagine getting $1,000 per inquiry. Going through and really understanding the FCRA and the FDCPA. So today specifically, we're going to break down the FDCPA. I'm going to show you guys, if you guys have had any debt collectors reach out to you guys through mail, call you guys through social media, try to garnish your wages, come to, steal any of your property, whatever it may be. I'm going to show you guys how to handle them and just some laws you can't hear. Let me know. Drop a 111 if you're able to hear me. Drop a 1 if you can hear me. Okay, we good now? Okay, so I always start at the congressional findings. Congressional findings is what Congress found out. This is why this act was even passed in the first place. So in 1977 and 1968 was when Truth in Lending was passed. So this is when the subchapter for lenders was passed, and 10 years later, 9 years later, we got something dealing with debt collectors, because through this lending, people that weren't paying it, these debt collectors, even that they were paying it, these debt collectors were still using abusive, deceptive, and unfair debt collection practices. So I want you guys to understand that this isn't something that just started happening. This has been going on since the 70s and even before the 70s. Hence why they came up with this whole subchapter. This is a declaration of purpose. So anytime you see a declaration, it's factual. There's evidence, that Congress has found on how in which these debt collectors, have gone through, yeah, and abused. Let me show you guys this. LVNV funding. LVNV funding. Just look up CFPB takes action against the two largest debt buyers for using deceptive tactics to collect bad debts. So they'll use different names. They'll tell you they got your information from so and so, and so and however they received. I don't know how, but they'll tell you what I'm getting at is they'll give you a runaround on how they actually got the debt. They're using false and misleading representations. Just remember these words: misrepresented, sued or threatened. They falsely claimed an attorney had reviewed the file, and a lawsuit was imminent. That they created a lawsuit. So I'm going to show you exactly what they're referring to in laws. Maybe you guys have had, debt collectors do such. They tell you that they're going to sue you. They tell you that this is from an attorney, that, their attorney's office is reaching out to you. And, these are forms of fear to scare you guys into paying these debts. So they're getting sued millions and billions of dollars. Billions, yeah. Wells Fargo's getting sued like $1.3 billion for for people, for evicting people fraudulently, for fraudulent repos, a whole bunch of stuff. People were late 1 month. They came and seized their car. Whole bunch of crazy stuff. So that's why it's vital to truly understand, the FDCPA and how to assert yourself, right? So abusive debt collection practices contribute to the number of personal bankruptcies. Think about how many people have gone bankrupt because of the quote unquote debt that they're in. Hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands of debt. A lot of people go into for student loans and are never able to pay that off. And people literally work their whole life to pay it off. If people exercise what one of my mentees just went through and did to remove 26,000, the same method that he used to remove 26,000 in student loans is the same method that he would use to remove 260,000 in student loan debt. So, you understanding how to assert yourself within the FDCPA and going through the regulators, you guys can get any account deleted and removed and discharge any and all debts. Um, what's up, bro? Hi, I'm on a call, baby. So I'm gonna take you guys here to the definitions really quick as well too. We're gonna briefly break down the definitions. I always, if ever just starting out in consumer law, any of these subchapters as a whole, always start with congressional findings in the definition section, specifically the definition section, and then I would recommend going to congressional findings so that you're able to even break down what's said within congressional findings properly, knowing the true term of that word within that subchapter, because there could be the same word, but that the definition is completely different because of the subchapter that you guys are in. So I'm going to take you guys here to the term debt. It states any obligation, right? So think about some things we've been obliged to do: go to school, get a job, etc. These are things that we've been taught that we're obligated to do. That, or anytime you see this word "or," that's Congress letting you know that you have freedom, you have the ability to choose. So it's an obligation or it's an alleged obligation. If you know what an allegation is, there's no facts behind it. There's no evidence behind it. So they got to prove and they got to validate, the claim in which they're, putting out there. So if they're not able to validate or verify the claim, it's a false claim that they're, going out and stating. So they got to come and they got to be able to. And that's the thing with these debt collectors. We're not there to argue with them at all. We're there to simply have them validate and show where this money came from. Show the paper trail. Let us know where it came from, and show us the contract. Show us, once again, you guys got to also be able to break down the contract, breaking down the truth and lending disclosure. What's being said within the contract. If you guys look right under the contract, it'll talk about the security interest. It'll state you are giving security interest in this vehicle. You are giving security interest in this, line of credit. So if I'm giving it, I obtained it in the first place. So we already have security in the vehicle, but by us signing the contract, that gave away security in that vehicle. So now I'm going to take you guys here. So that's the term debt. Once again, it's an alleged obligation. So have them validate and have them verify. And I'm going to take you guys somewhere here in the FDCPA as well too. That's going to show you guys the 5 things that they must do in order to properly validate or verify any debt. And so we come here to the term consumer, and we see the term consumer. It means any natural person obligated or allegedly obligated to pay any debts. Once again, you see the word "or." That's a sign of power, and that's Congress letting us know that as a consumer, we can act on the behalf of a natural person, and we can, be obligated, or we can choose. That is just an allegation, and I want them to validate. I want them to verify it. And then remember this as well too: communication. It means the conveying of information regarding a debt directly or indirectly to any person through any medium. So communication is, it can be your consumer report. That's also a medium of communication because they're using that medium to stop you guys from going out and using your credit, because the charge off is on your report. So, and they want you to pay off this debt even though it's already been charged off. So communication, it's, conveying of information regarding the debt directly or indirectly to any person through any medium. So now I'm going to take you guys here, and I'm going to show you guys how to integrate now ChatGPT with everything that we've got going on as well too. And then I'm going to show you guys here as well too how to create a CFPB complaint. So bear with me. So let's go ahead and come here to so now we come here, let's go ahead and let's look into, like I said, remember the term, medium, or I meant communication. So now we're in the law specifically pertaining to communication and connection with debt collection. So if any debt collectors are reaching out to you and communicating with you, we'll use this right here. It states right here, right away, without the prior consent of the consumer given directly to the debt collector or the express permission of a court of competent jurisdiction, a debt collector may not communicate with the consumer in collection with any debt. So right away, it already let us know that they shouldn't even be reaching out to us unless we've given them consent or unless they have permission from a court competent jurisdiction. So unless court's given them jurisdiction to reach out to us, they don't have jurisdiction to even be in communication with us. Further, then it goes on to stating that if they do reach out to us, it should be at an unusual. They may not communicate with the consumer in connection with the collection of any debt at any unusual time or place, or time or place known or which should be known to be inconvenience to the consumer. So right here, what this is saying is that it doesn't define convenience. So we as a consumer define when is convenient to us and when's not convenient to us. So if they call you anytime throughout the day, say you're operating a business, it's embarging and indulging upon your business that you're operating, and it's not convenient to you, the consumer. So this right here is clearly a violation within 15 USC 1692 C1 right away. Now I'm gonna take you guys to here 1692 CC. This is what most attorneys are using, if any, big attorneys that are using that defend any artist, any athlete, anything as such, any high well-known individual that's gotten themselves into a lawsuit. They'll come here, they're loyal, their attorney, and they'll use cease and desist. And this is stopping all illegal activity. So I want y'all to write that down. Cease and desist stops all illegal activity. So check this out. If a consumer notifies a debt collector in writing that the consumer refuses to pay a debt, or that the consumer wishes the debt collector to cease further communication with the consumer, the debt collector shall not communicate further with the consumer with respect to such debt, except number one, to advise the consumer that the debt collectors are being terminated, unless they're letting me know, we're gonna discharge this debt, it's being terminated, we're gonna zero out the balances, or to invoke specified remedies to let them know that, we're gonna go ahead and pay you guys out for the damages that have been done. And it states this again right here. So right here it states the if a consumer refuses or that the consumer wishes a debt collector to cease further communication. So we remember that the term communication is also is a medium of communication. So that's also included with our consumer report. So we can have them cease the information that they're furnishing and reporting on our consumer report. So if you guys have anything reporting on your consumer report, you guys can get that cease and desist. You guys can get that removed with this right here. So now I'm going to take you guys into ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you guys how to ask it a question to help you guys integrate and create a letter to be able to send out to Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and even the third party debt collector themselves. All right. So now we come here, ChatGPT. Let's go ahead and ask it a couple questions. So create a template for a financial institution that has used abusive and deceptive means in an attempt to collect an alleged debt in pursuant to 15 USC 1692 C I M. All right, so check this. I said create a template for a financial institution that has used abusive and deceptive means in an attempt to collect an alleged debt in pursuant to 15 USC 1692 CC. I'm cease and desist in all accounts for my consumer report. Have it create a template. Wow. Just like this is creating the whole template of cease and desist notice to I'm writing to you to inform your non-compliance with the provisions outlined in the FDCPA. Specific, yo, this sauce right here, this $1 million sauce right here. Like the things I'm integrating with this and ChatGPT is crazy. We're about to get this integrated into our website as well too, so people can come to our website, use AI to help them generate letters that they're using and learning within YBC University. YBC University, I'm breaking down the laws, the language to where you can even ask it questions as such to be able to, spit out a letter as such. But I mean, I've asked it to create me letters for just about every code and it's done as such. So this thing is bulletproof right here. And we use these and implement this into sending this out to the reporting agencies. A, we're able to send out a lot more. And then B, it's just going to be a lot more time efficient. So let me see. Now I want to take you guys here to the CFPB. Let me go ahead and pause the YouTube live real quick.